Hello and welcome to the Gauntlet Hangouts. My name is Lowell. This is a session that is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts online gaming community, which we have a couple hundred games on the calendar each month now. We have a Patreon that supports our blog. We've got multiple podcasts. As it's a part of blog, blog's free. It supports our zine, which we can do. We've got a yearly gaming convention. We got all kinds of cool stuff. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. And if you like AP videos, which I'm assuming you do because you've bothered to check this out, then you can check out my whole channel for multiple videos. Today, we are playing a hack of Blades in the Dark, which technically, I guess, makes it Forged in the Dark. I think that's the term for it. Blades in the Dark is a mission-driven story game, I'm going to say, that I've run quite a bit. And I have Fraser Simons, who's written his own and published hack. Hack the Planet, which is just about to be available on drive-through fully, right?
It's out on drive-through.
It is on drive-through. Okay.
As long as you just want a PDF, you're good.
Awesome. So this is a setting that I've run quite a bit, home and at conventions and so on. Neo Shinobi Vendetta is an anime ninja game. And I want to talk a little bit about what exactly that means. This is very much drawing from anime sources like Appleseed, like Ninja Scroll, and games, certainly Tenra Bancho Zero. There's a little bit of Cyber Generation here, Woozing. All of those things go into this whole concept here. And I want to talk a little bit about the basics of the sort of the cats, then the safety tools, and then the specifics of the premise here. Walking through our cat, which is concept, aim, tone, and subject matter. I think that's the quick thing. That's our brief version of it. So the concept is you are ninjas in a kind of a weird anime city. I don't say future. Like a lot of anime, we don't know exactly where we're at. We don't know what the time is, but it's a massive megaplex with these different neighborhoods that can be completely discordant next to each other. So you may have a neighborhood that barely has radios working, of essentially the working class, next to a skyscraper Zaibatsu arcology neighborhood, and the place is this weird hodgepodge of that. While there's a lot of Japanese, obviously, cultural touchstones, like in Blade Runner, there should be like all kinds of Western symbology and stuff in the background and utilizes iconography, but we don't actually see Westerners, maybe. I don't know. Sort of a reverse on that. But the idea is that there are these cyber ninja clans, these shinobi clans, and they have existed for a long time. But you, as members of your clan, have discovered that you've been lied to. The ninja clans that you belong to supposedly serve the will of the shogun and work for the various Zaibatsu, but you found that, in fact, that's not supposed to be the case. And that through the various training methods, like mimetic overlays and all of those things that have been done, your clan has been subverted. And you are some of the few that know that. So at the same time as you're doing sort of ninja stuff out in the outside world, you have a secondary purpose, and that is, hiding from your own clan and working in cells to uncover how this occurred, maybe converting others. That's part of what you get. In this game, rather than garnering coin, as you do in Blades, you're garnering secrets. And secrets give you reputation, but it also allows you to maybe draw and find more people who know things as the course of the missions go on. And so you're balancing doing the tasks that are given to you by your clan with these tasks that are given to you by your sort of secret cell. So that's our big concept here. What's our aim? Our aim is to be sweet ninjas. All right, that is at the forefront. Act anime, uncover secrets, and certainly balance good and evil. Our characters are anime, and so there is that sort of questionable morality, but you're good ninjas. In that sort of general sense, you are our heroes as we go on. This is anime. It's a little bit grittier, a little grimmer. It is not entirely realistic. Now there are lengths to that sort of anime spectrum. If any of you have seen Ninja Scroll, you will know what the far end of awfulness is in terms of brutality and so on. We're not going that far. My goal is more towards the middle, a middle level of grittiness. But we'll talk about that in tones and the lines and veils. So with that in mind, I've played with all of you before, so you're familiar with the safety tools that I use. We are using the X card as our default tool on the table for things that we find objectionable, for things we find problematic, or things we find wildly off tone. We can use the X card verbally or in the chat or visually, and we will move past that. And I do want to take time here to talk about what you would like in terms of tone. What are the limits of that? What things you think are maybe off the table, just complete line across, or things that we would veil. One thing I want to establish is torture doesn't work. It's off the table. It's not a thing that happens. That's sort of my line on this. But let me go and see what you're thinking, Darren. I've seen in the chat that you're commenting on appropriateness of tone. What would you like to see in terms of the anime-rificness of it, the tone? What would be your touchstones that you prefer, and are there things that you would like to definitely keep off the table?
Well, I mean, as far as tone goes, I swing all the way from Naruto to Ninja Scroll, so I have a wide swath that I am a-okay with. But
specific material though.
Well, I
like to cut.
Yeah, I second torture.
Okay.
Into that being a line, and a line for sexual assault.
Okay.
Not into that. No, I mean, otherwise I think I'm okay.
Okay, well let's run with it, and we're kind of establishing a baseline here that we can modify as we go through. Fraser?
Yeah, sexual assault for sure. A thing that I don't know if it's a line or not, but I'd like to avoid really cliched seduction things.
Okay.
Like, yeah, as like plans and stuff, like honeypots and stuff like that. After playing Cyberpunk 2020 material, I'm over it.
So is that a hard line, or you think we just go to a role kind of thing?
Yeah, like just go to a role or whatever. I'm not into people trying to role play seducing other people and shit, you know.
Man, that was the 90s and all my stupid Cyberpunk games I played.
Yeah, I'm sure it still happens all the time at for D&D and everything, but
okay. And where would you like your sort of line of realism? I mean, do you want this to be more Ghost in the Shell, like hard realistic, or would you like a more anime? What you feeling about that? Because the last time you played this with a different system, you Halo jumped from orbit.
Well, I mean, that's just gritty.
Okay, that's just gritty.
Yeah, I think something more serious. Something Ghost in the Shell would be cool, but I think having some space for levity would be good. I usually stick all that in the chat usually these days, but
Okay.
you know.
I think that is a fair thing that we can work towards. Owen, thoughts, lines, veils, anything else you want to add to the discussion?
The only thing that, and this is just one of those things that's been bothering me more lately,
Sure.
so just kind of want to keep out, is again going on the relationship angle. Even, quote unquote voluntary incest.
Okay.
I just want that out. So so that's about it for anything along those lines. Realism level, I'm pretty much good with where we're floating right now.
Okay.
The occasional gonzo sort of thing is okay, but the rest of the time, a bit more gritty is good.
Yeah, kind of a gritty things that are going on, gritty feel, but our characters can still do amazing and awesome stuff.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay. All right. Yep. All right. And Peter, any thoughts from you?
My lines were covered, and I feel like any veils I have were covered as well. Tone-wise, I'm really good with whatever the group sort of decided. The area we seem to be in right now seems to be good. I just want to make sure that I don't, because admittedly, my ninja anime familiarity is Naruto.
Okay.
Which in and of itself can go from completely gonzo to having these rare but strong moments of actual emotional depth, which don't happen often, but it's there. So
okay.
I'm not touching Boruto. I'm not. Okay. I'm done. I'm done. Point
All
is,
right.
Yeah. So I think as long as I'm allowed to bring at least a little bit of levity to it, because I feel like I'm not going to be able to go a whole session being totally serious.
So one of the things I think that's going to play into this is the way we're going to structure the session and the way we structure games is modeled on how Blades does it. And Blades has essentially a set of 3 phases. There's the, okay, we've been given our mission. What's our modest prep work? What do we need to figure out? Who do we need to go and talk to? That kind of thing. Very tight, getting to the engagement role phase for a particular mission, deciding how you're going to approach it. How many of you have Owen, Peter, have you played Blades before? Either of you?
I've played a little bit in a face-to-face group. It's been like our pickup game when our regular game isn't going. Okay.
Peter?
I have a little familiarity with it, not enough to feel comfortable with it.
Okay, yeah. So, but that's actually works to our advantage because sort of the general structure of play, but we're gonna stop to look at all the specifics when we get to that. So we go sort of prep, mission execution, and then downtime. And downtime is done afterwards. It's the healing period. It's the activity period, things like that. What we're going to add in as sort of a 4th phase, it kind of as part of downtime and before before the moving on to the next thing is kind of home life. Looking at what you do in the clan, looking at what you're required to do, looking at who you interact with, looking at what that's about. The idea is that in this massive megaplex city that there are these 5 clans. You are the Agana clan, otherwise known as the Shadow Wolves. And your particular clan HQ that you are in has a front, and we'll come back and talk about what we think that front might look like, what kind of operation is there. And you all are required to have some kind of modest life outside of the clan to build up an alternate identity. So we'll talk a little bit about that too. So there'll be some tensions there. So with that in mind, what I want to do is point you to the playbooks that we have. I want to talk about what those consist of and see what people think. in terms of picking, though, what you'd like to do. We have 7 playbooks. These playbooks, first of all, represent roles, the kind of play that you want. So our devious character is the crow, is their kind of our whisper character. That's that first playbook. We have a dragon who is our sniper, ranged fighter, and tracker. We have the ghost, who's the most stealthy infiltrator. The kitsune, who's the manipulator. The oni, who is essentially the full-out fighter. The priest, who works with the weird powers more than other characters. And then the sorcerer, who is a specialist in anti-ninja stuff. Now, one of the things you're going to see on those character sheets is source. All of you have a set of powers that come from a particular source. And those sources are nanoswarm, meaning that you have nanites bounded to your body that you control mentally. And that's how you manipulate things. You change matter, you work through things. That's one. Psychic, your powers are mental powers, psychic powers, things like that. Mimetic overlay means that you have been given the memories and skills and souls of past ninjas. Genocolony means that you've got this horror show bioweapon inside of you that can alter your body, alter your form. This is very much taken from Tenra Bancho, if you've seen that, or think The Thing from John Carpenter's movie, not the Fantastic Four. Cybernetics is, as you can imagine, cybernetic implants, and then Chi Field is about sort of focused soul powers. So whatever playbook you choose, like sorcerer, priest, whatever, you'll also choose your source, and that will give you a set of abilities to choose from as well. And so if you want to, you can kind of take a look at that. What I would like to do is have you take a couple of minutes to kind of glance through, and then in that same order that I just hit people up, I'm going to come back and ask if there's one that you're like, ooh, this is mine, this is the one I want, or if you've got like a couple, so you can narrow it down to that. Does anyone have any questions before I kind of let you loose on that? Okay. I'm going to drink this soda for a few moments, and then I'm going to come to Darren.
Fraser, you can't say anything yet. You're breaking the rules.
All that Fraser has done is narrow your set of choices to help you, Darren.
I'm supposed to be doing that for all of you.
Yeah, at least I know that by the time you guys get to me, I'll have 3 less choices.
Exactly.
Maybe. You could always fight somebody.
Oh, I will.
Yeah,
I just want to be fighting someone else outside of the group.
Yeah.
We need the Jeopardy music.
Yeah. That's probably copyrighted, so we would get flagged.
True. We need the Jeopardy music 2 octaves higher.
2 octaves in a minor key.
Change it just enough.
The Jeopardy dirge.
So, really quick as a
Sure.
reminder, because the sources started running together after a few.
Sure.
Mimetic overlay
Means that what they've done is they have downloaded the memories and skills of past ninjas and put them into your brain.
Okay, so that's like Matrix style.
It's Matrix style. It's like you have other ninja voices in your head telling you what to do, depending on how you want to frame it.
Cool. Okay. And then the other one, I was just kind of confused between Nanoswarm and Genocolony.
Oh, so a nanoswarm is basically they're mechanical nanites They're very much sort of just the grayish mist or whatever. They manipulate matter and use it that way. Whereas the genocolony, your body is the thing that gets manipulated itself. It transforms. So if you want to look at what the sources are, if you look on any playbook, in the middle sort of area, it'll say the name like Crow or whatever, and you'll see there's a drop down right below that, and then you can drop down on that, and that'll actually then fill in some things on the sheet so you can see what those are.
Okay. So if I did that, ooh, okay, cool, got it. Okay.
Sherry did a very nice job doing the
yeah. Okay, cool. I mean, I saw the drop down, but I didn't realize it affected everything else.
Each source also has some unique trauma that are associated with it. Darren?
I would like either the crow or the kitsune.
Crow or kitsune. And do you have a particular source you're leaning towards?
Are the sources also unique to characters?
They don't have to be, but I think it'd be more awesome if they were.
Sure. I think either psychic or chi field.
Okay.
I did not make a single decision.
Well, no, but that helps narrow things down. Fraser, are you still leaning towards the Oni?
Yeah, I like to describe my fight sequences very coolly. I suppose I could do that in anyone, but I like to be ruthless.
Absolutely, with a katana.
Yes.
So, and do you have a particular one or two sources that you're looking at?
Nanoswarm or cybernetics, predictably, probably.
Cyber. Okay. Owen?
I'm leaning towards the dragon or the sorcerer.
Dragon or sorcerer. Okay. And thoughts on source?
The Geno colony just really speaks to me, so I'd like that one. I can pick another one if somebody's really set on it, but
okay. Peter, does that leave you with good options? And feel free to stomp if somebody said either or. You just yank it from them.
Yeah. So the ones I'm left with that no one laid any claim to were Ghost or Priest, I think. But I was also looking at Crow.
If you did Crow, then Darren could do Kitsune.
That's all right. Cool. Okay. And then the source that I'm going for is Mimetic Overlay.
Okay. All right. So Crow, Mimetic Overlay. Then Kitsune. And do you want to be Psychic or Chi Field then, Darren?
Man, all my decisions weren't made for me. Interesting. I want to... Chi Field is very cool. Do I want to be Psychic? I want to be... I'm Psychic. Yeah.
Okay.
Psychic.
All right. So Psychic Kitsune. Fraser. Oni, Nano, or Cybernetic? Cybernetics. All right. Oni with Cybernetics. And so Owen, Geno Colony, do you want to do the dragon or the sorcerer?
I want to do the dragon.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So you've got your play. Once you chosen your playbook, you'll choose your source. You'll do that drop down. You'll get one of those source abilities, and that source will also give you a dot in one of the 12 skills that are off to the side. I'm going to call them skills because that's how I always refer to things. So that's the study, endure, command, alter, stalk, prowl, etc. It'll give you a dot in that. And you can see there's a little list of the character creation steps. It's next to the items thing. It's sort of in the first section, but down a ways. And essentially, you'll get your source stat. You'll get 3 more stats you can assign. You'll pick your role ability, and then there's some other stuff there to pick. So if I let you guys roll on that, are you cool with that? Sherry has provided little colorful descriptors for each of those stats that I will also call skills. So there's a little note box on each of those that tells you what they mean. One of the things I like about Blades is that, like in some ways Fate Accelerated in other games, you can kind of narrate what stat you're leaning into to do your action. Some things may be more appropriate. You may have a couple of choices. That's generally the way I play. And so these are a little more descriptive. Descriptive. It's not a word.
It could be.
Could be.
I think how do I mark this sensory array properly? Because I put an X there, but it didn't add anything.
Let me see here.
Probably have to do something
fancy.
fancy.
I would just actually take it and actually change the fill color for the box.
Oh.
I will go through this week and put checkboxes in all of those places because we're working from she was working from the earlier Blade sheets, which was created before checkboxes were a thing. But we'll go through it and I'll do that.
Okay, I changed it, but I don't think it added a thingy skill.
Oh, no, you'll put that in yourself.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I know. Yeah, I know. Look at all the manual work you have to do. Oh my God, it's not all automated, Fraser.
Yeah, no, I just thought that's what you said. I feel like it would make an appropriate one or something, like they were joined. That's what I thought. Like one skill was appropriate for that box or something like that.
Yeah, no. When you take cybernetics, you'll get 1 dot in alter, and you have to put that in manually.
Right, which has nothing to do with the choice underneath of it. Right.
That is correct. You're right.
That's what I mean.
So it's been a bit. How
Sure,
do I
absolutely.
distribute the skill points or whatever? I don't actually.
Sure. So what you've got is you're going to start out with 3 boxes automatically based on your playbook. And then from a medic overlay, you get an additional dot as you've done in study. And then you get 3 more dots to put wherever you want.
Okay. Am I allowed to put more than one in a?
I think right now, I'll have to check that. This has been a while. Let me take a look here. I think it's a max of 2 at the start total, but let me take a look real quick.
Right, it's a max of 2.
That's right, because you have to get a crew advance.
Okay.
That will allow you to move up. Which is something I want to mention. We're going to focus just on the characters and a mission today. Next time we'll look at crew, which is a whole nother module, but I want to save that for session 2.
Okay.
You may see the term on some of these character reprogrammed. That is the equivalent of being sent to prison in this game. It means that you have raised suspicion within your clan that something is wrong with you, and they send you in for reprogramming. And there's some mechanics for that, but that is the equivalent for that. if you need example names, I do have a names list. There's a names and links tab that also has the links to the role for your party, as well as a Pinterest board that pales in somewhat comparison to Fraser's various cyberpunk Pinterest boards, but it is the one that we have. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hide some of these sheets. And I do have a box at the bottom where you can put your image. I've got the little image link thing there.
So after you pick a role ability, oh, there's a character creation list. Never mind.
There you go. It's tucked down at the bottom, so.
If I remember correctly, you pull a friend or rival from the same list, right?
Yeah, I've got a little. I've got this list of friends here. It says live friends, but you'll choose one of those 5 to be a friend, and one of those 5 to be a rival. Some of them overlap between the playbooks, but a lot of them are unique.
Cool. So I'm just trying to figure out how to differentiate between the two when I mark it.
I would put like a big F for friend and a big R for rival, maybe in different columns.
Yeah, that totally helps. I was going to be silly and put F for friend or F for foe, and then realize I was just going to confuse myself.
Do big F, little f, different fonts.
I would have thought of something. I'm already playing into the crow.
Yeah.
I'm loving the normalcy of a barista. Very good.
Isn't that great?
Very good. A stylist. Wonderful.
For heritage, what are the Zaibatsu?
So Zaibatsu are the corporations, and there are 5 big corporations. They're the big corps that you would get different source books on if this were a game. Okay. And then there are little, like the sort of council of sub Zaibatsu. And on the factions tab, I've actually got some names for those. But it essentially means that you recruited or were born in a Zaibatsu Corp family at whatever tier you can imagine, and got taken, got brought over.
Okay, cool.
Oh, a thing I did mean to mention that I say when I do Hearts of Wulin, I want to be absolutely clear that this is a completely ahistorical anime lens on Japan. And it's not even Japan. It is a hodgepodge of cultural things. This is not at all, while we are using terms and things like that, we are remixing anime ideas. All right, I'm going to give you guys about 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to ask for some introductions, and I'm gonna get some questions, and I'm going to ask you about who you are.
Is the little box at the very bottom for our pictures?
Yeah, if you put your, it should link from the image link box off to the left there at the bottom.
Excellent. I found a good one. I think.
I like that picture, Darren. That's a good picture.
Is that one or one with like a face mask? But for a psychic Kitsune, I think that fits. Lol.
Yeah.
What should I know about Buddhist Templars?
So this is very much the sort of stereotypical. I call them the neo-iki. Essentially, they are sort of enclaves of warrior priests that have both a religious bent, but have also become kind of defenders and fighters, sometimes for good and sometimes for not.
Okay, interesting.
Did you already say what a wildlander was? What's up with those wildlanders?
The city itself is massive, and a little bit like Appleseed. The outside the walls are the Badlands, and the wildlanders are people that sneak in or live outside the walls. So those are the wildlanders are. By the way, if I do make anime references and you don't know what I'm talking about, you should stop me and ask me. I'm going to tell you that right now, because sometimes Rich will eyes will glaze over, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about, lol." So, just stop.
I haven't seen Appleseed, but I've heard good things. I tried to watch it.
Several versions of it. It is very 90s, very 80s, 90s.
Yeah, I'm all about like it needs to look good, and I didn't like the style, so I was like, "This is cool, but it's too ugly for me."
Do you watch the CG one?
Yeah, is there?
There are several versions of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was the CG one, and it looked like FF7 cutscenes or something. So it's like, no.
There are a couple versions. Back in the day, it was, as my friends would say, the shiznit, because it was some of the first tech anime that we could get in VHS, and it's why all of the robots and gear in Cyberpunk look the way they do, is because somebody watched a lot of Appleseed and read the manga. Darren, how are you doing?
Trying to decide on a name.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a minute then.
Goodness. And all I'm doing is looking at a list of names. Got it.
I put 100 names there, so I can understand.
Fine. Okay.
So, within the Agana clan, the Shadow Wolves, you have all been agents, probably taken at a young age, either born here or recruited or grabbed up. Had some experience in a past life before you were drawn into this world. And they did deep sleep training and pre-programming to make you the ninja that you are. And all of you have been operating, and sometime in the last year, you started to glitch. You started to realize, like, you went through the usual sort of download reset process that they do, and things weren't quite right. Maybe we don't know exactly what happened. Maybe there's a corrupt program, maybe a gap in the material, something like that. You began to realize that what the clan was telling you about the purpose wasn't exactly right. And you started to see gaps and errors. You started to ask questions. And eventually, you were contacted by someone who knew better what was going on, who told you that you needed to be quiet, that you were right, and that there were others like you, and that you would be formed together with some of them to be a cell, to work from within the clan to try and find out who did this. If it was the people at the top of your clan, or if it was other clans that had done this and had committed this violence to your own clan, you're not sure whether. So there's a whole mystery to be solved there. And so the four of you know each other and have worked together, and you know a few other people who are kind of in the know about what is going on. But you have to be very careful, because if you were told anybody who didn't have that sense of the wrongness, they are more than likely to report you up the chain and send you down. So, Darren, why don't you tell me about your character?
All right. My kitsune is named Hitotsubashi Fuku, excuse me.
Okay.
That's the longest name. I think Hitotsubashi, I said, came from the Buddhist Templars, where I think he was trained as this like psychic agent. But then was left or taken out somehow to be absorbed into this clan, where he's become like a sort of master, and like performer or something. The words are escaping me, but does Kitsune things, right? I picked for the cover identity that he works as an interpreter, so maybe that's interfacing as like a free agent for Zaibatsu and like, you know, outside corporations that would need interpreters.
I imagine that there are lots of regional dialects given the size of the city and the cultural mixing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that interpreter between just like regions and districts. Hitotsubashi has a gambling addiction, and
what kind of gambling?
Classic dice, craps.
Okay.
And I think he goes to Yakuza gambling halls.
Okay.
Usually, as long as they will have him. Let's see. Oh yeah, friends and rivals. I have a friend with Tekla Gavak. These names. Gavazawa, who's in Deep Ops.
So that means that they are in charge of handling people who go undercover for years and years and years and years.
Nice. Yeah, that's interesting.
So why is Tekla your friend? You said your pronouns are he, him?
Yes. Yeah, okay. He, him.
Tekla, male, female?
Tekla, female.
Female. And is she just an operative within Deep Ops, or is she a more highly placed person?
Yeah, I think she's an operative in Deep Ops. Okay. Somehow, yeah, maybe we were in some op together for a while, and now she's been like reassigned, right? She's like back deep.
She's maybe getting other people ready to go for the long ops, and you're just kind of in that waiting period before she gets sent off for years again. What's your relationship? Is it friends? Is it romantic? Is it like sibling?
Yeah, I like that. I think it's sibling-ish. Because I think we started as coworkers, and then just as a natural course of, well, not necessarily natural course, but as a result of whatever operation we were in, I think we were able to like pass off as siblings maybe. But I think our closeness during the operation, the necessity of our closeness gave us that sort of relationship. So yeah, it's very much brother and sister.
All right. Yeah, you were brother and sister, and that has carried over. Okay. That's your friend. Who's your rival?
Rival is Nomad McGravis, who's a clan analyst.
Okay. The clan analyst is the person who checks on the psychic well-being of agents. So it makes sense if you had some deep ops stuff. Is Nomad male or female?
Male.
Male. And what's Nomad like?
And now I'm just thinking, I think Nomad, what if Nomad maybe is very much like, I think Nomad maybe has been programmed so thoroughly to do this job that I'm thinking they're very much like the, I just am picturing Blade Runner now, 2049, when Ryan Gosling's character has to sit and make sure that he's like, I forget what they call it, but he's still like fine. He hasn't like gone rogue as a replicant. So I'm thinking it's somebody like that. His personality, he like, I think inside of the clan, it seems like he doesn't have a personality, and like maybe we only ever see him when we have to be analyzed. So
sit you down with the machine, starts asking you questions. You see a turtle in the desert, you stab it, that kind of thing.
Yeah. God, yeah.
Why is he a rival or an enemy for you? What happened?
I think because of my Buddhist Templar training, my psychic training, I think that he's never been a big fan of me because maybe there's a perception that I can like evade these analysis techniques, and now it's like even more dire, right? Because I could get caught.
Excellent. I like that very much. Tell me something about what you look like.
Oh yeah, okay. So I went with based off the picture some, but I'm picturing a lot of layers of flowing dark robes, which is a very typical outfit for me. And I'm imagining like as I think it's just something where it's like it doesn't ever seem to stop moving. So even if it looks like Hitotsubashi is standing still, it's almost as if there's always this like breeze sort of like moving the fabrics. And then when Hitotsubashi moves, like walks, it's very like fluid, right? Because it's covering his like legs and stuff, and it's enough fabrics and layers that you don't see the like kicking of the legs or anything. And then he's got a cute little ponytail, just a short one sticking up out of his head, and some smeared eyeshadow just for like just for a mood, you know?
Okay. On screen, when you use your psychic blast, what do we see? What happens?
Oh man, yes. Now we can get into anime stuff. I think that the fabric stops ruffling and it like lays still, but then we get these really great like I want it to be kind of tacky still, right? So I think we get like it's almost like holographic overlays, like circles. A big circle shows up with circles inside of it for a second over his forehead, and then there's just like, you know, whoosh of air and psychic.
And what's the physical effect we see on your target? I mean, they bleed from the ears, they scream, their eyes roll back in their head. What do we see?
Yeah, that's interesting. Is it like a physical trauma or is it a psychological trauma? Oh man, I didn't think about this. Yeah, I would like it to be like a psychological trauma. So yeah, I think screaming and then like perspiration.
Okay, I like that. Awesome. And your alias, your code name is Piercing Veil. Okay.
Here's those
awesome.
veils.
That works for me. Let's come to Fraser. Fraser, tell me about your character.
So Aurora is a immigrant, but I think I think rival corporations had done some sort of classic strike on each other, and she was damaged in the ensuing onslaught when she was younger, and that's how she got her subdermal plating. So I think she was like a victim of, you know, the cross death match of these corporations, and was brought into the city and taken on by somebody there who basically became her father, and her cover identity is still in that life. She maintains that original cover identity where she works with her father as an antiquarian at I don't know the name of the place yet, but
okay,
it's a place that is essentially exactly what it sounds like, except that she uses it as a place to buy back certain artifacts and things like that from where she was born and stuff like that, which is
so like maybe there was
hard to find.
a corporation outside of the walls and the Zaibatsu struck against it and destroyed it and
probably appropriated their resources and stuff like that. They had something that they wanted and they just took it.
And you were part of the resources that got salvaged. Bang.
Yeah. Yeah. Woohoo.
Does your father have any sense, or is he completely oblivious to this?
He's completely oblivious. In fact, he might even be like in the hospital right now, and I think I tried to go legit for a little while, you know, like I tried to be antiquarian, just wasn't good at it at all, and I keep up those pretenses. I say like the store's doing fine, Pop, but really I'm out doing these missions that I said that I would never have to do again, essentially.
Do you think the clan has the clan done stuff to his memories before? Have they messed with him just to make sure your cover stays intact?
I think they say that they don't, but it's like an understanding that they do, and I believe the lie. Yeah.
All right. So subdermal plating can't be crushed or strangled. Are there any visible signs when we see you? Is your do you think your cybernetics are completely concealed, like people can't tell, or are there some signs?
There's signs. It's like Ghost in the Shell where you can see the like line, like it's really good. It looks like flesh and everything, but there's like the subtle line that indicates the different pieces coming together. And her alias is Petrichor, just because I think it's a cool name. And she looks very fashionable. She's eclectic, and I put in quotations a millennial. She dresses very nice. She's pretty pale. She looks sort of like Nordic ethnicity, and she always has these weird makeup things going on that are like the current trends. I picture it very like pretentious Warhol type stuff in the 70s stuff. That's what's going on. It's bad.
Okay. Okay. Warhol, Bowie, that kind of thing. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like that. And when you say these luxury items, are they real antiques? Are they items of luxury? Are they tech pieces? What do you imagine that collection is composed of?
I think it's like the history of the like island that she came from. So like pieces of art, pieces of literature, things that I think are sold as luxury items by the mega corporations, which tie into why the Oya Motto exec is my rival. I think this person is maybe was like a junior exec who ordered the hit or something like that, but also buys up those items as a sort of like just like a collection type thing, right? Like he doesn't even need them or whatever.
Like an older Zaibatsu person. So very much a rival on your secret identity or your public sort of identity. Is it that they've gone to get things and you've already bought it out from under them?
Yeah, and I think it's like an ongoing thing. Like we'll be at the auction, and I think as long as he manages to get there, he can probably outbid me every time. So I'm basically trying to find these like underhand deals in the back alley before it hits the auction or something like that, or just track down these pieces that maybe he hasn't found yet or something. But when it comes down to like at the actual auction, it's very like Drake in Uncharted, right? Where like these rich people can outbid me, and I'm like, well, I guess I gotta maybe go steal it or something. Or
and how physically intimidating are you? I mean, is it are you not, or how do you imagine that?
Yeah, not at all. I think I'm very like lithe and unassuming, and people underestimate me with that. But I think maybe the thing that gives me my leg up is my training and the fact that like I've got the dermal plating all over, so I'm like just kind of tankish.
And who's your friend?
My friend is Kazashi Daruma, who is a weapon maker.
So what does a weapon maker for the Ninja Clan, what do they like?
To see me wield their weapons, because I'm a beautiful angel of death. But also maybe they just think I'm cool.
Young, old, this friend of yours?
I think pretty young. Maybe we get along because we have similar fathers. He also has assumed his father's business. I'm thinking like, have you seen Bittersweet Life? Main character in that? Like a really lithe, similar to me, like unassuming. People underestimate the person, but virtually like humorless.
And I mean, there is a sheer bond that you have this life, and you have not only a cover identity, but you've got these cover people, which probably makes you suspect from time to time, because they do worry about those bonds you form in those kinds of relationships. So yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What's your weapon of choice, do you think?
Well, I went hardcore katana last time, so let's do John Wick. I'm like all about that gun fu.
Okay. Full on needlers, volters, all of that kind of thing. Okay.
Oh yes.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Let's move on to Owen. Owen, tell me about your dragon.
Well, he is a older, unassuming gentleman when he's outside of his handyman's uniform. His cover identity is he's just one of those people in the background. Okay, I got to maintain this machinery. I got to go down in the sewer. I've got to do this. So he's got a mask on most of the time because, he's getting into awful things. So don't worry about me. I'm just here. Don't worry about me. Oh, there's a hole in your head. Don't worry about me.
Okay.
Sort of thing. He's a member of the clan we're in. It's years he could remember, entire life. He's been part of it. The angle I'm taking with the Geno colony thing is that he really believes that he's been part of this the entire time that Geno colony has been there, that he's a continuation through that. So there's a continuation along those lines. But if you see him outside the gear, he just looks like an older gentleman. He laughs a little, he's relaxed a little, and then suddenly is willing to commit violence and then proceed to eat his lunch. That sort of thing.
And you've got Reweaver, which gives you a nice healing thing, but also allows you to swallow someone whole. What does that look like?
It looks like did you ever play the video game Prototype?
I've seen it. So yeah, I got a sense of what you're talking about.
A series of flowing black protoplasm just flowing over the person, then recongealing. And now Anubis is a little bigger, a little bulkier. He's carrying somebody around in there, which is why his clothes can expand.
Okay.
That's assuming the contract requires the whole person. If it doesn't require the whole person, we just take the part we need, and go from there.
Fair enough. And do you think that's what the colony is? Is it like that kind of weird living black ooze in you?
Yeah, it is definitely a colony of. He gets the sense that's many minds, but it is a colony of this kind of a black ooze that flows out of him, allows him to do those sorts of things, and patches him back up.
Excellent. And you've got ranged attacks and potency. Tell us about your friend.
The friend is someone else. They are someone else who also has a Geno colony. Who's a member of the clan. And they, as an incident cleaner, they can look like, no, that target's not dead, or, oh yeah, well, what body? Yeah, there's some blood here. No, yeah, I have put on some weight. Things along those lines. And my thought was, since the vice is faith, is that there's this belief that they share that anytime they absorb a person for a while or something like that, some of them is left behind.
Ooh.
So that there's this sense of everybody who we've had that kind of contact with, we have to figure out how to make them part of ourselves as part of the community, just like the clan is a community that should be working together. So this revelation is also a little bit of faith shaking for him.
Yeah, so there's certainly then I like the idea that among the Geno colonies there is this kind of small group of people that have this strong belief, and that probably wouldn't want the elders to get wind of this kind of alternate set of beliefs.
Nope.
Nice. And what about your rival, your enemy?
Going again along the lines of the Vice and Faith, is a competing heretical sect amongst the cybernetic, and that is the reason why we have that issue there with. I'm trying to remember the names. I'll remember them after I've had to run into them a couple times. Senjukta. There.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a yes, this is a rivalry, and we disagree with each other, and we undermine each other, but not so much that anybody notices why we're doing it, because then we're both gonna hang for it.
Oh, interesting. So they have their own beliefs about ascension through technological means, kind of thing, like
Yeah.
a singularity thing.
Kind of a singularity thing, and also with the mimetic overlays that they believe that they can achieve the restructuring of the oversoul through all of that. So they're trying to collect mimetics from everybody they can to try to get back down to that true one human soul idea.
Interesting. And you said you look otherwise relatively unassuming, a little bit older.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Outside the uniform, just looks unassuming, general pleasant person. Nondescript, local.
Awesome. I like it. That brings us to you, Peter. Peter, tell us about your character.
All right, so I've created Cypher Naoko, the crow with the mimetic overlay, which is, all kinds of whose knowledge is what knowledge, and just insanity. Where do you want me to start? What do you want to know?
Yeah, tell us about what they look like, where they're from, what their cover identity is, that kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. So what they look like, kind of got a lanky build to them. If you get a look at their face, they're very wry and calculating most of the time. But also, if you get a look at their face, you're doing something wrong, because that means they're that close. Okay. And you should probably not deal with that. But, he actually keeps his face mostly hidden beneath a bamboo hat, which is sort of helpful to him, because he actually is a club owner under the cover identity of Mr. Akita.
I like that.
Cool. Heritage-wise, he is from one of the Zaibatsu. He's from the Jinrai for entertainment and communications, which, sort of ends up kind of playing back into what sort of his base instincts go into, because a lot of what he's got left of who he was originally are his base instincts.
Okay. So taken from there as an early age, and then kind of placed back into a position here that relates to that connection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what for you are those memories like? What you have these mimetic overlays, these other experiences. What for you is that like? Is it voices? Is it other people? Is it just instinct? What do you think?
So I think it started out as voices, but the longer that I've got these overlays, the more they start sounding like my voice. And so I think that it's a matter of balancing what I've got overlaid in me as well as what my own head says, because sometimes I can have two of my own voice basically having out an argument, and I don't know which one is actually mine.
Okay. Nice. And yeah, that disassociation is a possible trauma. So yeah, that's
God,
great.
Yeah. This is like he heavily dissociates at this point. I think probably one of the biggest things is trying to figure out at this point. I think he's been in it. He's starting to get to the point where he can't quite pick out which memories were his.
Especially because you probably got memories that are giving you contradictory information about the nature of the clan.
Oh yeah. There's probably at least one or two left that are like, hey, everything's great, just obey everything. And then there's a whole overwhelming amount of others going, it's all a lie. It's all a lie.
Nice. Tell us about your friend.
Yes. So my friend is Vershka Varghese, the lore keeper, which I think with the amount of knowledge that I have to keep straight, it helps to have a friend who also has to work within the confines of what knowledge is available.
So, do you think that they keep some of that? They work with some information storage, but they also keep some of it inside themselves.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think they were actually probably one of my earliest friends in like when I became a part of the cell, because I think that what they've seen me change the most.
Okay. And what about your rival?
Ah, yes, my rival, Stack Farova, a rogue yokai. Yeah. So, I think Stack and I also go way back, but uh, Stack is one of those that figured out fairly quickly that like I was having trouble keeping the mimetic overlays straight, and first appeared as sort of like just a voice that was offering more information, and it was, it was early days, so I just trusted it because it was one of those voices. So I figured, okay, must be a new thing that I just wasn't aware of, and then uh, figured out not quickly enough that it's not one of my voices. And boy, has it given me a lot of trust issues.
Yeah, the yokai are essentially artificial intelligence robots that have weirdly taken up monstrous mythical forms and functions. And this one, have you ever seen Stack in actual life, or if you just heard the sort of the beamed voice into your head?
Um, I think I've seen Stack once or twice, but I think that because Stack knows that I know his voice, like that's the one thing I definitely know. He tries to frequently switch up his appearance
Okay.
because maybe he could, you know, get me in on it, but he can't seem to change his voice. So that's sort of the thing that I have to like keep my eye out for or ear out for.
I like it. All right. I think we've got a good sense of our characters. I want to take about an 8-minute break. And when we come back, I'm going to give you a mission and you can figure out how you're going to do it. Sound good? Okay. We'll be back. So, you four, probably each of you knows one or two other people outside this immediate cell that are also aware, are also in the know about the situation with this. But the person that you report to is a woman named Sai. And she is a shrine maiden as her general cover. And it is this the attitude and demeanor that she has when she operates within the clan. And she is essentially your cell leader and informant. She's nearly often looks sort of like silver metal. She has a nano colony that is her source that she works with. And she has called the four of you essentially to one of the meditation rooms within the clan HQ that has been carefully prepared and worked to prevent eavesdropping, listening in, any of that kind of thing. And she will call you four in, and she will say, a few hours ago, we intercepted a old encryption signal, a failsafe that was used, as far as we can tell, maybe 2 decades ago for deep cover agents of the Agana, people who would go in for long-term operations. And this failsafe indicates to us that an agent has been compromised and requires extraction from a location. The reason we're interested is this. We believe that whatever affected the clan, whatever changed things, it happened no more than a decade ago, which means that this particular agent has likely not been affected by what's gone on and may have insight into the situation before the clan was corrupted. I have pulled strings to have you four assigned to the exfiltration of this agent. The problem is we only have a name for them. The records that would indicate beyond that have been lost or someone has destroyed them. But they go by the name Nene Yuki. The situation is complicated because Yuki was apparently assigned as part of the household staff. We're uncertain the exact role, exact nature, to one of the provincial governors, Governor Relraku. He has been in place for several decades, and Nene was assigned there 2 decades ago. We don't know why at this late hour they were spotted or what has happened or anything like that, but we need you to figure out what's going on, find a way in, get this agent out, and if they have important information or anything like that, we need you to get that out as well. Do you have questions?
Is there any are we at all worried that this person might have activated a signal decades later because they've been turned?
That's a possibility. This could certainly be a trap to lure you in and to kill you all. I think that's a little more unlikely, but could be. Other questions?
Is it safe to assume that this person that they're on the staff of is like not, or is an enemy of the clans? They're deep cover.
Governor Roraku has been a toady to the Zaibatsu interests. And so while they may not be directly opposed to us, they certainly are no friend to our plans and operations. I would suggest you not murder everyone on site, given that we would like to keep our heat down relatively as much as we can. So I'll just put that out there.
Well, we'll try to keep Aurora under control.
And she does look at Aurora.
Oh, that was one time.
Aurora, what was the one time? What happened that people do look at you when they say things like that?
I think maybe. Oh, maybe I was on a mission where one of the people could identify me by way of like perhaps they knew my father or something like that. And so I took extreme measures where usually I'm more restrained, but the extra measures has got me a reputation, I guess.
Okay, that seems fine. Like someone who everyone else thought was just a bystander that nobody had to worry about, you butchered.
Yeah, and I didn't explain myself either. I was like, this is just the way it is, right?
Okay. So she will look at you, Cypher, and you, Anubis. Do either of you have questions?
If all we have to go off of is a name, and they're aware, they being whoever might else be out there, of that name, is there another way to identify who we're looking for, or could we just end up being tricked into believing that someone else is?
That's a good question. You might check and see if you can uncover another identification protocol in the archives before you head in.
Sounds good.
Anubis?
As far as returning this agent, do we have resources if they are severely injured and have to be brought back in a stabilized state?
That's a good idea. I think you can probably request that the clan provide some kind of medevac as part of your extraction. You can certainly make that request.
All right, because it may be simpler to kill somebody, the agent that we need to extract, theoretically kill, versus try to kill all the guards to get her out, or him, or whatever.
True. That is true. If you can keep the head alive, we can certainly extract information from that at a later date.
Very good.
I would prefer a whole person, but I understand that needs must.
Very good.
So she will say, the clan, you are officially assigned to this operation, but you have this secondary agenda. When you bring them back, they should be handed over to one of our people. I'll tell you who, but you'll want to be careful about this. And she will kind of let you go and plan. And so this is sort of the phase before we get to the engagement role, at which point when I ask, okay, what's your method of getting in? And we go to that sort of engagement role where I'm going to go around, I'm going to do kind of once around, see what you want to find out, what you want to ask, those kinds of things. Not necessarily big role stuff, but it can be if it's something deep. And we can see what you're going to do. I am going to, again, start with Darren. Darren has learned that this is the first session. I put him first in all of these go-arounds. Next session, it won't be him. Next session, it'll be somebody else who gets to be the start of the line. So what do you think, Bashi? Do you want me to call you Bashi?
Yeah, my friends call me Bashi.
Bashi. Well, I consider myself a friend. So, Bashi, what would you do? What would you look into? What would you want to make sure you have? What do you think?
As my cover identity as an interpreter allows me to do is create a lot of connections with important people such as governors, CEOs, things like that. So I would like to make the rounds and try to find out the agenda and schedule of governor who will be infiltrating, and see if there's a way we can, either. I'm aiming for a party. I want a social plan. I want to go to a party.
Governor Raku is right now preparing for essentially the graduation / coming of age ceremony for his youngest son, who has just essentially graduated from his dojo, and the governor's putting on a big to-do for this because he is the only son. The governor has 4 daughters and 1 son, and this is finally, even though all of his daughters are super competent, it is a boy, and he is a terrible person. So he's doing a big thing. It's going to involve his friends. It's going to involve highly placed people from the dojo. It's going to involve his son, that kind of thing.
Wonderful.
Does that seem reasonable? Like good info?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Okay.
Swing around. I'll try to pitch my plan.
Sure. Aurora, what would you do?
If we're going to do that, I would probably procure some piece of art that would get us in there, right? Like some sort of like
a
gift, or like something that I know the governor would be looking for on the cyber forums or whatever. I would suddenly list that as available, and then we could be people who deliver it, who turn into party goers.
Okay. So this is kind of trying to acquire an asset, it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Does that seem right? What do you think is the appropriate ability for doing this? Are you hunting around for it with stalk? Are you pushing people to get it to you with command? What do you think you want to do?
I surprise people by stalking them. No, I'll stalk them. Yeah, I think I maybe just steal whatever it is that he is looking for this male cotillion thing.
So what we do is we look at your sort of risk, and we look at your possible effect. So I think this is standard effect. So the effect is getting an item that they want. And I think it is risky because essentially you have a risk of messing this up and drawing more attention. Does that seem right?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm stealing stuff.
Okay. Then should we go for that roll?
Yeah, I am curious though, what is this thing? What does he want?
I think that he likes clockwork soldiers, like clockwork samurai and clockwork soldiers and things like that. Particularly a beautiful tech that can fold and unfold itself into different configurations and run. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, I think that's good, especially because it's like an apt metaphor for the person's future, right? Like you're gonna grow up to be a robot like your dad. Capitalism, here we come, son. Okay, cool. So I got one skill point.
So you get one die for your skill. Yeah.
Cool.
Do you want to push yourself, or do you want to take a devil's bargain?
What's the devil's bargain?
Well, the devil's bargain is that certainly word will get back to the clan that you are using resources and indulging in your father's business. You've already a little suspect on that, and so that will certainly raise the overall heat in the end of this.
Is there an alternate one?
That was my devil's bargain.
I would take whatever is door number 2.
So no devil's bargain? You could push yourself.
Yeah, I'll push it.
Okay.
Well, no, I'll take it. The heat. We'll get hot.
Absolutely. Make it hot.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
I've got 2 dice to roll. We've
Yeah.
got a room in the names and links thing, right?
Yes. It is vigorously valued dodo.
Nice. Okay, get that. Okay, so 2 magenta dice, as is my signature. I got a 6. Yes.
Got a 6. So tell me, I mean that's a critical success there. So what makes it easy and awesome for you?
Oh, I think the ubiquity of this product. I think that the supplier has been like mass producing them, but bulk shipping or bulking in the shipment of them to create artificial demand. And so all of the good robots in society really want them and pay more money for them, but they're actually like very easy to get a hold of if you.
So cheap for you, and you get it, and it is in high demand. So it certainly will get the attention when you bring it in. Okay.
I got a limited edition.
Limited edition. You got the gold one. And it'll fit on the console, and it'll give you a whole little character and all that stuff. What about you, Anubis?
I'm looking to see about how to, if there is it existing, or to figure out how to generate a servant service hole in their security perimeter. It's like, oh, well, we obviously have to have this door here because how else are the people who bring us our food and, wipe our faces get in and out of the room, sort of thing. I'm looking for that because, well, we're going to a party. I know Aurora's going to be here. It's going to be messy. We're going to need to suddenly disappear where no one's looking.
So essentially, you probably go to the people who help do the preliminary survey, and you talk with them, and they will give you, they'll ascertain a gap. What do you suppose that gap is? What is the weak point that they can give you?
They've had to really reroute some serious power into here, so they've opened up a whole panel and had to go into the mains in one spot because this is going to be so over the top that they're drawing like 3 households worth of juice on this. So
Yeah.
there's a legitimate hole in the wall under that we can get out through.
Yeah, they've done a rolling blackout on the neighboring zone, and they've rerouted the city grid and got that set up. Absolutely, yeah. So you've got that as it's a nice place that falls in between. Yep. Cypher, what about you?
I actually just want to follow up on sort of the offer that was, or the suggestion that was made, the first point. So I want to try and go to the archives and see if I can find basically another way to identify this person so we don't accidentally get duped by the wrong person.
Can I come with you?
What?
Can I come with you?
I mean, like, I'm not going to say no.
Well,
We're working on the same thing. So yes, absolutely.
So you can go down to, do you go to your lore master friend to have them help you with that?
Yeah, I think that was kind of the thought I had was.
Okay. And essentially you have to kind of go on a roundabout way, because you can't look for this particular person, but you can work back a ways until they can pull up some deep codes or a deep method that they can use to ID old agents. So what do you think you can locate as the fallback protocol? What's the is it a device? Is it a passcode? What is it that you can use?
I think it's actually a combination of the first two. I think it is a device specific to this clan that generates passcodes.
Okay. So essentially, and this is a very old kind of thing. It's 20 years old. The tech, it's still super high, sweet ninja tech, but it's 20-year-old sweet high ninja tech. And essentially, what it does is it's constantly generating a set of passcodes. And when you get within range of the person you're looking for, it will sync up, and the passcode will appear, and you'll know that that person is nearby.
Okay.
And by nearby, I mean like in the same room kind of thing.
Oh, good. Okay, good. I didn't want it to be like nearby, as
They're in the same building.
Oh God.
Thanks, lol.
That's so helpful.
Yeah. So essentially, it gives you good fiction for doing the locations, hacking your codes, all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's the idea.
Bashi, was there anything else that you wanted to find out as when you went down to the archives?
Yeah, I think while I'm researching my own thing, I want to find like profiles on some high like some high member in society who I can like kind of assume their identity of. So
you're gonna generate a likely target. Essentially, you'll go to the people that build legends, and essentially you give them I need this kind of person. I need them at this level of society. I need them to possibly be invited but not be able to show up. And they put it into their machine and they start running through, and because it's an anime thing, we see punch cards come down, and then we see a big holographic screen pop up, and they'll say, how much we can do it with little risk of the person getting, like, there being problems, but it may generate, we have to like intercept the person to make sure they don't get there. Or we can get a person that have, how do I put this, 80%, 80 to 85% that they're not going to be on site.
I would like the best that you have. I'm sure intercepting them will not be a problem.
Okay. Well, I will. We'll call resources, and we will send a couple people to delay your target, and they'll pull up a folder, like it's a manila folder with black and white printouts and stuff. It smells of a contact solution, and they hand it to you, and they say, "There's your ident." It has a full thing where it, like, if you have a disguise kit, you can like plug it in the disguise kit, and it will, generate that MI5 style mask kind of thing for you.
Great. Yes.
Back to you, Aurora. Anything else you want to do? Anything else you want to plan here?
I don't think so. Maybe. Oh! I plant some weapons at the venue just in case we need some weapons.
So you make arrangements that that have access to weaponry on site. Anybody else? Anything? It sounds to me like your method of engagement, your method of getting in, is establishing this identity and using that along with this gift to get into the party. Does that seem right? Let me take a look then at the engagement roll. Yes, planning and engagement. The nice thing is I've used this book so much, it falls open to that page. Because otherwise I'd be here for several minutes. Anyway, so the engagement roll starts with 1 die, just because you're awesome. I don't think. Do you think this operation is particularly bold or daring?
Yeah, because this is like the social elites.
Okay, yeah. So you are going up. So I'll give you another die for that. I would say that the item that you got exposes a vulnerability, and so I think that's worth an extra die, Fraser. The work that you did with that. Does anyone have a friend or a contact that can provide insight for the operation?
I have Tekla, the Deepops agent.
Okay. How are they helping?
Yes. More important question. I think that Tekla is able to brief us on like how that equipment that Cypher picked up, how we can use that in tandem with like actually finding the person. Like there's some, these like archaic secretive ways that we can communicate with somebody, like a thieves' cant sort of thing,
Sure.
to like ascertain who it is.
Okay. So that would be 4 dice. The governor is a high tier target, so I'm going to take down 1 dice. So you're going to be 3 dice for the engagement roll. Tell me, Bashi, who is this person that you're going in as with, and are there others your entourage then?
Let's see. The person I'm going in as is it's Cotillion. Oh my gosh. I think I am going in. Oh, I'm going in as like a military officer.
Okay.
That will be fine, I'm sure. Some high-ranking officer, right, probably comes to these like coming of age ceremonies to like try and con these young people into enlisting or commissioning. And I don't know. I would love maybe Oni is coming with me. If you want to come into the front.
Aurora, would you have the gift? Do you go in as an attaché or a bodyguard or a secretary?
Yeah, I like the idea of like a bodyguard with like a suitcase, and then that way when we present the gift, it's like all armored and stuff, but it's just like this toy.
Okay. That seems awesome. What about you, Cypher, Anubis?
Anubis is going to try to get in as Anubis gets into most places. Well, somebody has to be running stuff in the background. If they need somebody in catering or, just to move trays or haul garbage, that's how he's going to be in there.
Okay. So you're sort of taking the side route that you found. And what about you, Cypher?
Could I use my cover identity as a club owner to get in just openly?
Do you think you're a Yakuza club for a governor, high place, high ranking kind of thing? Do you think that's appropriate?
Probably not. It was worth a shot.
I think it might not be the most appropriate thing for this.
I would agree with that. I'm debating the best way in because I feel like part of my character's appeal is the sort of flying by the seat of his pants nature.
So do you think you want to go in like separate from Bashi and Aurora?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just
Okay.
not sure. I'm not sure how. Can I hail? No, no. I almost said those words.
Can I Halo jump in?
No, no. But that does kind of. Can I come in from above? Can I come in from basically the roof down?
I think that's certainly a possibility. Yeah. So essentially, you want to try and how would you do that? What would be the technique? Do you think it is? Is there are you hooking on to a video drone or are you gliding in? What do you think that's going to look like?
Basically, I think what I want to do is use one of my mimetic overlays to just kind of acrobat my way in.
Okay. So let's go with Bashi. Let's have you make that engagement roll. And even though you guys are split, we just do one engagement roll because I don't want to do separate engagement rolls for everybody because that doesn't make any sense. But whatever the sitch is, all of you will be in that same level of sitch when things go wrong. So Darren,
It's 3 dice.
you came up with the plan, but Aurora's your assistant. So Aurora, I would like you to roll 3 dice for the engagement roll.
Okie dokie. I'm gonna delete these other
Hope your
ones.
party hates Fraser. though.
What?
Hope your party hates you.
I got a 6 already. I broke it.
Yeah.
Shazam! Oh, that's a 4. 1, 2,
That-
4.
It's okay.
That is a 4. So let's look at the thing here real quick. 4. So big estate, large sprawling grounds, gardens, garish. Everything is done in reds and golds. Everything here is done and designed to showcase the ostentatious wealth of Governor Relraku. And it is kind of a mess there when you get in. One of the things that everybody should decide what load level you wish to be at. I'm assuming for the people who are going in through the front door that their loadout will be light.
I'm a bodyguard. I'm strapped to the nines.
Are you using that as your excuse?
Yeah, I go normal because I think they expect that I
Okay.
have something, right? I'm a bodyguard. I could take them out if I need.
Sure. I think Anubis, you have a little more restriction if you're kind of going in, amongst the staff. Do you think you go light?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards light right now and hoping that caching and improvising if need be.
Okay. And what about you, Cypher?
I would like to change my method and try to accompany Anubis because one of the things I realized in my load is that one of my items that doesn't count for load is a fine cover identity.
There you go.
So it kind of like maybe it wasn't my original cover, but like I can show up as someone who's supposed to be there.
That seems reasonable to me.
Cool.
So let's have you, so you can choose light on that. Okay. So when you get in, one of the things you will realize is that the governor has clearly spent some money to put on a display of his military connections. And there is a squad of cyber samurai on the grounds, accompanying one of the high judges. And they are that kind of, they don't think anything's going to happen, but there's still this group of 7 samurai who are making a show of their presence. And there's at least one with the judge, and then the others are probably moving around the ground. So it does make you a little nervous. They're in full gear. They've got, their vibro katanas. They're in their outfits, and they are walking around up to the nines. And so it is when you are starting to mingle around with people, Bashi, that you see them, and that kind of brings you up short. Like, you've got to be more cautious than you would have been otherwise in moving around here now. Does that seem like a fair mixed success?
Yeah.
And especially because most of the people here don't have a bodyguard, but you do. So they do note that you have someone with arms. And certainly, as you are moving, you go in through the staff entrance, Anubis, and you are also probably brought up a little short and have to kind of fall back when you see one of these samurai kind of doing their rounds down in the kitchens, just checking. Maybe not, at a glance, you don't think they're actually looking for anything, but you do want to be cautious. So party, people around, lots of different areas, gardens, hollow projections, noise, lots of late teenage kids dressed in their finest, with their parents kind of trying to keep them in line for what is a kind of an ostentatious ceremony. So how do you want to proceed, Bashi? And I'm going to kind of go around and check with everybody, and we're going to get a sense of how we're doing this.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I think the first thing we'll do is probably present the gift, right? So we can ingratiate ourselves in the party, and then socialize, and basically just wait for Storm Mist, Shadow Mist, excuse me, using the aliases. Wait for Shadow Mist to probably make his round.
Okay.
Or something, whatever Shadow Mist ends up doing.
So let's start with you, and you kind of presenting this and showing off, and then we'll move to our other face of Cypher and see what they're doing, and then we'll kind of roll through. Does that sound good? So you go up to Governor. He is one of those old people that you can tell are just kept up by certain implants and the stolen organs of the poor. And even that is wearing thin for him. His daughters are all older. It's the look of kind of leer the three daughters who are all kind of watching like vultures. But he will greet you, and he says your cover name, and I'm just going to say your name. He goes, Bashi. I understood that you were coming. Is very glad, and I hear that you have a gift for me.
Of course, honorable governor, we would never arrive empty-handed to your glorious home.
Oh, show me what you have brought me.
Like gesture to Oni, I'm just calling you your playbook.
I'm gesturing to our fighter.
Gesture to Petrichor to come forth with the suitcase.
And I like, well, how much of a impression do you want to make? Because I could like slide it along the floor and then it could unfold itself and all that kind of stuff, right? And look pretty cool, or what?
Yeah, I want to match the ostentatiousness, right? Part of the gift giving, I think, is part of the spectacle, right? We have to rise up to the governor's level.
Yeah. So maybe even like the bodyguards kind of like flinch, right, as I like whip this suitcase into the main area.
So how about since it's kind of a dangerous maneuver, well, let's say it's desperate, and great effect because the item. How's that sound?
Which one of us does that?
That's going to be Kitsune rolling.
Okay.
What does that sound like? Does that insinuate?
Yeah, I like that for insinuate. Because I'm trying to like convince the governor that this is impressive and we are worthy of all this.
Okay. Then let us have you roll.
Okay, I'm gonna push myself to increase the.
Okay,
and I'll help. Stress. I'll help.
Oh, and so you mark a stress as well. Look at that. That's gonna be 4 dice. There's almost no chance you could fail.
I want to increase the position with my set of added dice.
So not desperate.
Yeah, that's risky.
Just risky. Okay, so risky, great effect. 3 dice.
So, I'll just re-roll the magenta. I hope your dice aren't cursed, Fraser. 1 success or 1 6.
1 6. Yeah, it's not tilt and loop. So that's actually a critical. Oh no, it's not a critical. It's just a 6. Sorry, I forget that criticals are double 6s. So tell me what that looks like. What do we see?
So Petrichor, you like whip this suitcase like across the floor, and it like springs open, and the folder
like there's a bomb coming.
I think as soon as the little figurine, like, the physics are just right, so the figurine stands up and it turns on and then walks towards the governor or whatever. I think there's a deep bow, and I say, Governor Renraku, your what am I saying? Governor Renraku, your honor guard outside is already such a dazzling show. I hope one more soldier can be added to the impressive array that you command.
And he takes a little shot of oxygen, and then he giggles, and he like goes over, and he's like, oh yes, this is, oh yes, please come and sit and tell me tell me, and he just kind of wants to have you there, and he's impressed with you, and he picks it up and plays with it, and you can tell that you have made a positive impression. And the guards who were kind of standing back, like hands on hilts, their hands come off, and they realize this is not a threat, and they take you as honored guests here. With that opening, let me come to you, Cypher. Looks like Bashi has cleared the air, gotten you in, and got you recorded in the staff journals as people to be treated well.
Yeah, which is good because Yeah. So I think that I've kind of got that device that I made sure to get earlier. And as I'm hopefully being treated well, I think, my eyes are just kind of like trying to subtly dart around the room to see A, if the device goes off, and B, who the device goes off around.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of staff people around here, but the device is still rolling through those numbers.
Okay.
But it's a big facility.
Which I think then the sort of opening for me is I need to find a way to kind of get out of this room and start investigating the rest of the facility.
Absolutely. So you would like to sneak away,
Yeah.
get yourself out from under observation, and I think that you've got prowl.
Yeah.
That is the move for that, and so you can move to do that. Mhm.
Just to be certain,
Sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and use compensate. So instead of prowl, I'm gonna use study.
So tell me about the voice in your head that tells you how to sneak out of this room.
Yeah, so right now it's almost a whisper because, whoever this originally was extremely good at their job. And it's, it's basically like a guide in a way because it sort of directs me. It's not controlling my eyes, but it feels like it is because my eyes seem to automatically start gazing in the direction of like where I'm supposed to go, how I get there, how to just get there, where basically like if I time it exactly right, I get like in between these guards and do this and do that.
Mhm.
And it's like the whole thing is laid out before me as if I'm looking at a GPS.
Perfect. Let's have you roll with
Okay.
2 dice for study.
Okay.
Do take a look at your loadouts and see if there's anything you want to mark to give you additional positioning or anything.
Oh, okay. Got it. I have.
Like, for example, you have blueprints as a thing.
Yeah.
You can
I
mark
do.
that to increase your position, either make it controlled for instead of risky, or to make it big effect instead of standard effect.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll grab the blueprints.
Got them kind of in your like little hollow display in your mind's eye.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
it's basically yeah.
So do you want it to be controlled, or do you want the effect to be bigger?
What's the difference?
So here's what it is if you make it controlled, it means that when shit goes wrong, less stuff goes wrong, less problems possibly occur. The consequences are less. If you go for big effect, then you essentially, if you succeed, better things happen. It's a terrible choice.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Big effect.
Yeah, that is exactly the right choice.
Yeah.
So you roll 2 dice.
Okay.
And you're looking to get at least a 4 or 5 on one of those dice.
My question is, does my roll ability Yatagarasu come into this?
That actually works on your engagement roll when you first start to go in.
Got it. Didn't know really what that meant. Just thought it sounded important.
Sure.
But
we will remember to hit that next time.
yes. But next time is not this time, and this time, okay.
2 dice.
I'd like to spend. I'd like to get an extra dice.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You can spend a couple stress. That's the easiest way to do it.
Okay. How much stress would I need to spend?
2.
Okay.
And you would get another die.
Cool. I'll do that. I should make those different colors.
I was just thinking.
That was like immediately I was like, I chose wrong. Hello. That's not correct at all. Anyways, so 3 dice and
3 dice. Let's see it. There's almost no chance that you could fail.
Lowell, that needs to be on a shirt.
I know.
Okay.
I used to run when I was in Cairo.
2 6s.
Oh my God, critical success. When I was in Cairo, I was running a game of GURPS for people, and I came back one night from the game. We had played really late, and I talked to the guy, and he was like, I had this nightmare all last night. Like, I kept waking up, and all I heard every time I woke up was, "Why don't you make a roll for me, Chris?" in your voice. So,
oh God. Yeah.
So that everything falls into place.
Yeah.
Calculation, movement, all of that. Like, you see, and you know where the cameras are, and you are back absolutely in the main part of the house where no one is supposed to be. No one is supposed to be back here, but you have slid back into it, and you have sort of full access, unseen, to the hidden portions of this.
Yeah.
That's you are in communication with the others too. You become the house.
That works so well that I am now the house.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, and probably you are able to like it's probably got like the automated sensors and things back here, and you've probably able to tell that there aren't that many people back here. There are probably a dozen people back in the back part of this house that aren't out at the party.
Okay.
That seem fair? You are,
Yeah,
are in a
absolutely.
great position.
Yeah.
Let me come back down to then Anubis. Anubis, you're maneuvering, moving amongst the staff. We'll assume that you four are in communication, like you have communicators on a scrambled line to do that. So what are you doing?
Wasn't expecting this level of security down here.
Yeah, no way. Yeah.
So, this is a big fancy party with big fancy people doing all sorts of big fancy illicit things. Going to try to find one of those things and gently direct one of our security agents, indicating that, Honorable Sir, there's not to tell you your job, but there's a problem over here that I think needs to be addressed to maintain the safety of this party.
Ooh, interesting. So essentially, you're trying to use that as a distraction to move up carefully. Okay.
Yep.
So what do you think that is? That undermine? You think?
That's where I was leaning.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
All right. Do you have a devil's bargain for me?
What do we think is appropriate here? I think the devil's bargain is that the timetable on this was quicker than you expected, and you have not eaten, or rather, your Gina colony has not eaten recently, and it's going to be hungry.
Right. All right then. Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. Take the extra die as well. Your stomach rumbles, but it's not your stomach.
Yeah. Well, I'll find someone to eat that they won't miss right away.
Okay. So yeah.
And that's a 5.
That is a 5. So I think that you can do it. Like, you go and you talk to this samurai. But they are going to like note and mark you now. Like they're going to spot and put you in the records, but Now, you could resist that if you wanted.
Yeah, I'm going to give a resistance on that.
Okay. So to resist a consequence, 6 stress minus your highest die roll. I think that's probably weaken.
Okay.
You're rolling with. So roll 3 dice.
All right. I'm having that fun problem where roll for your party won't clear things for me. So get to that in a second.
Sure.
I just cleared it for you.
Thank you. I got a 6.
6. So no stress. So there is that moment when he kind of turns to look at you, but you've already kind of slid away, and he doesn't get a reading, and he heads off to where some of the young kids have snuck away from the party, essentially to do eyedropper based hallucinogens. Essentially, they connect it right up to their tear ducts and inject the drugs right into their brain. And this guard will go to catch them, and that will clear the security path for you. So you've got now the pathway that you've got in from your exit to the kitchen is cleared and secured. Sound good? So let's go back to out front. Bashi, you know that you and Aurora know that Cypher is in the building, and maybe is the building, and you know that Anubis has cleared your exit down in the sublevels. What do you guys want to do? And let me remind you the circumstance. You're looking for someone who's been in here 20 years, and for some reason, the emergency retrieval signal got sent out. You don't know what the circumstances of that are.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna stay and chat with the governor, of course. That's such an honored position to be offered a seat beside him. I'm just gonna hit him up and try to probe him. Governor, I hate to be so forward, but I've heard rumors from some of the other attaches and politicians I encounter with that things maybe haven't been so well. Surely your house isn't in unrest.
Interesting. So let's have you roll insinuate. I think this is risky. I'd say standard effect.
Got a devil's bargain for me?
I think the devil's bargain is that you are, whatever you're doing, you also become this. His daughters are standing by, and you are saying that they are not keeping the household up, and you are potentially going to get them really pissed. Well, actually, if you take the devil's bargain, they're going to be really pissed.
Gonna be really pissed. Oh man.
I'll go flirt with them if you do.
Okay, I'll take it then.
Okay.
I can't. I'll be disappointed in my bodyguard for being so forward.
Okay.
Let me roll, guys.
So that's 3 dice. Insinuate.
Oh, it's a 4.
That is a 4. So I think that you are going to darken his mood.
Yeah.
Unless you would like to avoid that consequence.
Yes, let me avoid it.
Okay. So I think you're going to roll weaken to resist him getting angry at you.
Yep. On my 2d6. Oh, nice. -5.
Nice. So just one stress.
Mhm.
He says, "No, my son is here. He is back." He says the only thing that we've had that has clouded this day is that one of our most faithful household retainers, young woman, young when she came here, but woman who raised my son very much, the gardener of our household, had a stroke, and she has fallen very ill, and we're uncertain as to how she will be treated. Whatever malady has overcome her, she seems to have weakened her. The doctors have tried a number of cures, but with no success. But that is merely the thing. My son will get over the loss of his beloved gardening nanny. These things pass. We shouldn't attach ourselves to temporal issues like that.
It's very wise, Governor, and you're so
Ooh,
right.
I like this doll very much.
Your son is a beacon of I don't know, something terribly sexist, a beacon of masculinity in these dark times of uncertainty. He needs no one.
Good.
I want to mind beam that out. And
Okay.
whatever like holographic communications we have, right, to make sure Cypher gets that info.
Absolutely. I also like the idea that Ninja Garden is a rhyme for Ninja Gaiden. But anyway, but the daughters they see their father, and they see this stranger who's given their father a toy, disparaging their management of the household. And Aurora, are you going to try and
Smooth it over.
smooth it over so they don't decide to poison you and your friends?
Yeah, especially now the
Okay.
stakes have elevated considerably.
So what do you think that is?
Well, for one thing, how far up is the cover identity for Bashi? Like, if I were to go over, for instance, and say like, oh, men trampling around like elephants and stuff like that, would that be like a thing where I could like wink and flirt with them and they'd be cool with that, or they'd be like, damn, like, shouldn't be talking shit about?
I think that it will depend on your level of charm. I think them
Okay.
getting offended is on the table as a possible consequence, right?
Right. Okay, well, I'll make my way over as that conversation is happening and say, just let me apologize for those words that were said. With, I'm sure wine was consumed or some other alcohol, and men, they trample around like elephants, and I like wink.
What do you think? What ability do you think is most appropriate for doing this?
Yeah. I don't know.
Of the abilities that you have.
Yeah. Prowl.
Prowl?
No. I don't know. Strike doesn't make sense, right? Because it's not a physical thing.
I would say that because these are a little more like aspects, I think you could make a case for surprise.
Okay.
Like you pop up and kind of, throw a monkey wrench in their temperament.
Yeah. And I'm sure that happens all the time too, right? Like that guy seems like he says stupid stuff all of the time, their father.
Absolutely. So yeah, that'll be one die. I think we're risky standard effect.
Cool. Any devil's bargains?
Oh yeah, they're going to take their anger out on you.
Oh no.
Like what you do is, if you calm them, then they will realize that you are an attaché to the person they dislike, and they will merely crush you.
Okay. Okay. Counterpoint, they fall in love with me. Infatuation, that's no good.
I have offered you my devil's bargain.
Yeah, you're good with those. Social bodyguard, yeah. All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
2 dice. 2 dice. I'll draw their ire. Okay, 2 magenta dice. Come on. Oh, that's a 1 and a 2. That's no good. Oh no.
So, I think things are going to go badly. Like you go to talk to them, and you're a physical person, right? Like that's your thing.
Yeah, and I probably speak like the equivalent of like some hood rat dialect or something too, right?
And I think it's the thing where the room is kind of moving around it, and before you realize it, you have been separated out from them, and these 3 daughters are kind of there, and they're looking at you with that, how dare you look? And you realize that like a couple of their bodyguards, their personal bodyguards have shown up, and you realize that the body language here seems to be that they're saying to their bodyguards, take this ruffian outside and beat the crap out of her.
And
No words are exchanged, but you can tell that they're going to essentially let loose their bodyguards to do what they will.
So they just have a look that is like, this person needs to get beat.
Yes, that is the look.
Okay.
And there's none of your crew around.
Yeah. Okay, well, the Kill Bill music starts.
Okay. So we'll come back to that scene in just a moment. Yeah, you're in a garden. There's a cherry blossom tree nearby, that kind of thing. The little running brook through the scene as these daughters leave you with these 2 hulking bodyguards. Let's come back to Cypher.
Yeah, so as long as I got that intel from earlier,
Yeah.
I have a sneaking suspicion that I should go find that gardener.
Okay. So what do you think is appropriate for tracking them down in this? You think is that study?
Yeah. I feel like in this case it is just study, because I think, especially with the blueprints that I've still got on me and everything, I've got a better idea of the layout of this place, and at least some idea of where they might be keeping her when she experienced her stroke.
And I will say, normally back here in this kind of dangerous controlled area, it would be desperate, but with your role from before, and because you're the house now, it's just risky, and good effect. So why don't you make a study roll?
All right, so that's 2. I'm going to go ahead and spend another 2 stress to bump it up to 3.
Yeah.
Because there's no possible way I could fail now. Or it's unlikely. Or whatever you say.
There's almost no chance that you could fail now.
Thank you. Yeah. I certainly can't say that, because if I do, I've screwed myself over. So here we go. That's a 5.
That is a 5. So I think that you can find the sort of the medical suite that she's in, but you are going to get spotted by a guard. Do you want to resist that consequence?
I do. How much? What do I need to do that?
I think weaken remains the appropriate one for that. So you're going to roll 3 dice.
Okay.
Take the highest, subtract it from 6.
Okay, so I roll 3d6 and subtract the highest from 6?
Yep.
Okay. So let's go. Okay, so that's 3.
So you're gonna take 3 stress, but you don't get spotted.
Okay.
But
Well,
look at you running that stress up like Frasier.
I mean, I might as well Halo jump at this point. That'll be the end that I meet.
Anubis, you get the word that Cypher has located the target, probably about to get eyes on the target. That Cypher's in the sort of the back isolated area, has made their way back there. Bashi seems to be keeping the attention of the governor, and Aurora's about to get murdered. What do you want to do? Ostensibly murdered. Yes, true.
Yes, yeah. I'm hungry, and there's a medical wing, and that means there's people who won't struggle as much. And that's where our target is. So, yeah.
Make your way up there to
yeah, I'm gonna make my way up there to back Cypher. Because Oni's got this. Oni can make a big spectacle. I don't need to back that play. That's fine. Go up there and verify we could extract our target or some tasty organs that the governor has set aside or something. I mean, there's something there.
So you don't want to be spotted. So a successful prowl will get you up to immediate backup on your friend there. Does that sound right?
Yeah, sounds good to me. I'm gonna spend 2 stress for another die. With a 6.
That's 6. So yeah, you get up there. You see the not particularly sophisticated guard who's back there that Cypher snuck past. Cypher's gotten into the medical room. You're coordinating, so you're on site to help with the transport and help get them out easily. Sound right?
Yeah, and if it turns out our target is actually disabled, it will be easier for me to carry her out than other people.
Absolutely. I'm going to cut back to Aurora. There is that moment when they stand there and they're kind of looking at you, and they know you're a bodyguard, so they're not taking this entirely, lightly. But you will see one of them, takes the skin off one of his hands to reveal essentially the cyber fist, and the other one does that thing where he's got one of those metal rods that he flicks out, and you'll see the crackle of plasma across it, and they move to kind of get at 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock.
Well, they sound wise, but they'll still be destroyed. I'm going to use. What do I like to use? What is a needler and a volter?
So a volter is an energy discharge weapon. It is useful against cyber people and people with electronics and things like that. A needler is firing out using like a magnetic field to launch out like a large number of puncturing needles.
Oh. Okay. I think I'm going to use a unique weapon.
What is your unique weapon?
It is just how I was constructed. I think beneath my hands, I just have just reinforced, like similar to the armor plating, basically, like the subdermal plating. So it'd be like hitting with one of those things on your hands, the ring things.
Yeah,
yeah.
brass knuckles.
Yeah, brass knuckles, exactly. Yeah, except way better than that.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So I'll mark that. And I have potency because I am true. And I'm going to push myself. And I would like to take them out in one foul swoop with aim.
Okay, so there are two of them. So you're in a desperate position. And taking out two of them, you've got potency, so that'll go to standard effect.
Right. And then I'm going to push myself for more effect.
Please do.
So I get that good. Or do I get the XP for desperate roll?
Yeah, if you're rolling desperate, then yes.
Cool. So does that mean where do I put XP?
There should be more boxes next to strike. We'll get that fixed.
Okay, cool.
But
okay,
you can put a little X there.
So I'm rolling 1 die, is it?
So you've got aim, you pushed yourself, so that becomes 2 dice. Desperate and standard effect.
Right. Okay, so two dice. Magenta, don't fail me now. Oh, is there a devil's bargain? Oh no, I already pushed myself. Never mind.
Yep.
Shazam! 5.
5. So I think you will take out one of these guys. Like you hit them and send them flying back. But the other guy is going to bring up that taser rod and jam it in and deal some severe harm to you.
Resist.
Okay, let's have you roll resist with a strike.
Excellent. 5, so 1 stress.
5, so one stress. So that will take it down to essentially a level 1 harm.
And then does my am I resisting blunt damage with the subdermal plating?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you always resist with single stress. So yeah. So you didn't even have to roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you've taken one of these guys out, the other one is still up.
Okay.
Bashti, you're kind of coordinating. You can, in your mind's eye, you see that fight going on in the garden. You see Cypher on site with the target. You see Anubis backing him up. Is it time to get out?
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot I have true as well. So I have potency versus physical targets.
Right, which is why you took out. You were at standard effect rather than reduced for two fighters.
Oh, okay. I thought I had that from the unique weapon.
Oh, no, you're right. Absolutely. So you're gonna drop both of them.
Boom. That's how we do. Slow
Boom.
motion too.
Yeah. Boom, boom. One guy, he gets that hit in. It kind of goes off your plating, but you will drop both of them.
Nice. And then as I'm walking away, I say it would be unwise to bring this up to anybody because you have shamed yourselves today.
Oh,
You mooks.
you mooks, you basic. Anyway, Bashi.
Governor, I fear I've taken too much of your time. There are so many far more illustrious guests at this party. Please allow me to take my leave of you.
Yes. He's got the toys. Like, yes. That's oh, double articulation.
You honor me with your giggles.
Yes, and he'll kind of gesture for you to leave.
Yeah, I think maybe I'll just try to meet up with Petrichor on my way out and just try to leave, I guess, right?
There's probably the smell of like ozone, a little bit of crackle around Petrichor.
Petrichor, I hope you didn't dishonor me.
I say the only people that are dishonored are laying on the ground outside.
That could have went far worse. We promised Sai you would not act out like this.
Act out. Those Those women were just prudish. I could not know their age.
Well, surely there would have been a diplomatic way to deal with this.
Oh, it was very diplomatic. Modern women especially like me. Only old people dislike me. That is the only reason.
Please escort me out.
So the two of you get out. Cypher, you come in. This looks like she must be in her like late 40s. She's on kind of a ventilator, and that device you have will ping, and we'll come to a stop there.
Is she the only one in here right now?
Yeah, you evaded the guard, the watch person here.
Okay, cool. Which means it's definitely her, so the intel adds up and everything, which of course makes sense now. So now it's a matter of getting her out.
Cypher, Anubis, do you want to present your plan to Cypher?
Mm-hmm. I can carry her out without anyone noticing.
I think I know what you mean without you having to go into it. So I'm just going to go ahead and agree and assist you in any way I can.
Excellent. Before I do this, is there anyone else in the medical wing or like a transplant box or something?
Not as far as I can tell, but I think there's a guard outside.
They said they only needed her head. Hopefully we'll only nibble a little on the way. And a whole bunch of black pseudopody tentacles flow over, removing gently the medical devices and all that. But at the very end, there's just this little bit of a bone crunch sound. It goes, I really need to eat before we do this.
We are going to have to repair that before returning to Sai.
All the important portions I asked before we left. All the important portions are still intact.
I'll believe it when I see it. Let's get out of here.
Oh, right. When we leave.
Cypher, had you ever seen a genocolony do that before?
Cypher hasn't. I'm 90% certain one of his mimetic overlays has. So he's getting very conflicting opinions.
Your medic overlay was like looking away in your head.
Yeah. And like my head is like, but I want to see what. No, you don't. Over here.
And I think Anubis, you'd cleared and secured that path. You guys didn't draw attention. And I think the two of you can walk back out and make your escape through that egress. And that is where we're going to stop. I will do XP at the start of next session just so we can walk through that, and we'll walk through downtime. We'll talk about the crew next time, and we'll roll into looking at some daily life stuff for the ninjas before we go to that next thing. I would like to next session we'll do roses and thorns, stars and wishes, whatever at the end of the session. Sherry particularly wants to know next time what you think about the characters and the abilities and things like that. Any feedback on it? This is a work in progress. But thank you guys for being willing to try this out. And I'm going to stop the broadcast. Which, by the way, Sherry is watching downstairs on the television.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry.
All right. I am going to stop now.